Hey guys, Greg here. I got a pile of records to show you, stuff I've accumulated over the last 5-6 weeks. Thrift shops, record stores. Haven't been buying a lot of new stuff, but here's one actually new record. And Jackie McLean, great saxophone player on Blue Note. The album is Destination. This is the Blue Note Classic re-release series. This is from 1963. Jackie McLean was a great hard bop sax player, and then he ventured into some avant-garde and modal stuff. This one I think is sort of more modal. It's not a real blowing session. It's kind of mellow. And did I say modal? Three of the four songs are written by a trombone player, Rashawn Moncour III, and I love his stuff absolutely. And Roy Haynes on drums. Oh, Bobby Hutcherson. That's what makes this album so great, I think, is Bobby Hutcherson on vibes. And we have Roy Haynes on drums and Rashawn Moncour, who are both still alive, I think in their 90s. So great to hear those guys. And one of my favorite Jackie McLean albums. Not one that's as well known as some of his others, because it's a little mellower. All right, let's see. How about a trip to a used record store the other day? A record that very few people know, and that very few people would realize is actually a Wes Montgomery record. What? Doesn't say Wes Montgomery anywhere on it. It says Kismet, and it's jazz interpretations of the music from the Broadway show Kismet by the Master Sounds. And the Master Sounds is really the Montgomery brothers. Wes Montgomery, one of the greatest jazz guitar players of all time. And let's see, who do we have? Monk Montgomery on bass, and Buddy Montgomery on vibes. This record really sounds like a Buddy Montgomery vibes record. There's not that much Wes Montgomery on it. It's kind of very mellow, cocktail-y. It is not on the top 10 list of Wes Montgomery albums for sure, but interesting cover, interesting to find that in a used record store. And Kismet was a popular show, I guess it's the 50s, and the most well-known tune that came out of that show is Baubles, Bangles, and Beads, which I think has been sung by a lot of pop and jazz singers. Not super recognizable tunes, and this record suffers from the quality control problem that I have with a lot of the used records I buy. They have some special lighting that makes the record look perfectly clean in the store, the vinyl, and then when you get it home, it's all scratched up. Like, do they buy special lights that you can only buy at record stores, designed to fool old guys like me? I don't know. These records are out of order in terms of the shopping that I did, because, you know how I am. Actually, the record store that I got the Jackie McLean at, I also got 3 or 4 records. How about Bootsy Collins for $1? Where will you find Bootsy Collins for $1? The greatest funk master of all time. And it's a vertical gatefold, which means you gotta stand back or go sideways. I don't think that signature's real. And I don't really know the tunes on here, and it's a little bit dirty and scratchy. For $1, we're gonna clean it up and see how the funk sounds. Bootsy Collins. What? This store, they always put the label in a stupid place just to screw with you. They literally do that at the store all the time. What's wrong with you people? Have some respect for the great Bootsy, please. At the same store for more than $1, avant-garde free jazz by a guy that not too many of you people know, Vinny Golia. And this record goes back to the 1980s. Let's see. Well, this is solo. This is just him playing the gigantic baritone and bass sax and a few other instruments. Am I showing the right side? Yeah. That's like an alto. Soprano sax. That's your soprano sax that Coltrane and Kenny G play. He's more well-known for the bigger saxes. Look at that big bad boy. So Vinny Golia is like one of the top leading people doing the avant-garde free jazz here on the West Coast. We don't really have a big scene here on the West Coast for free jazz. And I have seen him play once, maybe twice, a while ago. He plays a lot with Alex Klein, Nels Klein's brother. And I think I saw the 3 of them play together once. So anyway, haven't heard this. It's a lot of free jazz and what do you call it? Improvised jazz. So my type of thing, noisy music. Okay, yesterday at a Salvation Army that I haven't been to yet, kind of near my new office, so I can hit that place once in a while. They had a lot of junk, but one halfway decent record. The great Nancy Wilson singing with the pretty good George Shearing on piano. What's this called? The Exciting Combination, blah, blah, the Swingin's Mutual. And she did a few of these records. She did another similar one with Cannonball Adderley that we're trying to get. But the thing with both of these records is she sings on one song and then the next song is instrumental. So back and forth, back and forth. So she sings on half of these songs. It's mostly jazz standards. On Green Dolphin Street, classic that everybody has recorded, Miles Davis and Eric Dolphy, etc. I didn't know that song had vocals. I didn't realize that was from a show of the same or similar name on Green Dolphin Street. So first time I've heard a vocal. And then Lullaby of Birdland is George Shearing's signature tune. He wrote it, blind piano player. That is the biggest hit that he has written. And that's an instrumental version. So that's kind of, those two songs are flipped. You know, you got the great Nancy Wilson there and she doesn't sing Lullaby of Birdland. But for $2, this is a clean, decent copy. It sounds good. On Capitol, here's a pile of 3 records that I've been meaning to show you. And you're going to hear a lot more in the next day or week. Conversations 1, 2, and 3 from the Swiss drummer Florian Arbenz, independently produced. And each one of these, he calls it the Conversation series. Each one is him doing like a duet or a trio with another interesting pairing of a musician. So Florian, there he is. You can start to see him in that photo with his signature cap on. And he sent me these from Switzerland. Is that a Swiss accent? I don't know. He sent me these from Switzerland, and there are some cool standards on here and some stuff that they've composed. So you got, on this one, you've got Waltz for Debbie and Hackensack by Monk and Bemsha Swing by Monk and Freedom Jazz Dance, which is a great tune. That's just on this one. I'm going to be interviewing him, and we're going to maybe play some of this. It'll be like a live listening party. But 3 cool records. And part of the message is you guys are so into the old jazz from the 50s and 60s. There's great jazz being made today. And there are great musicians out there doing great stuff. So look for that interview. I'm just going through the stack here as they appear in the stack. Let's see. Oh, when I showed you the Kismet, I should have shown you this one because at this record store, you get a free record from the free pile. So the free pile one I got was this. Cat Stevens, Buddha and Chocolate Box, gatefold. Pretty interesting artwork and cartoony stuff. I haven't really looked at those cartoons to figure out what the heck that means. It looks like it's a story or a graphic novel almost. Interesting artwork. And this record's in decent shape. More Chocolate Buddha. Haven't listened to it, gotta clean it up. It may be a little bit scratched, but it was free, so. Cat Stevens. The best Cat Stevens project out there is Harold and Maude, and they finally came out with that on an album for Record Store Day. But if you haven't seen the movie Harold and Maude, go see it now. Oh, you can wait till this video's over. Let's see, thrift store pick. Oh, this was at the same store where I got the Jackie from the dollar pile. None of you have this record. I like records that are bizarre and unlistenable. Who's this? Is this Igor Stravinsky? No. It's Adley Stevenson II. Adley Stevenson, who ran as on the Democratic ticket for president against Eisenhower and won. Did I say won? No, he lost. He lost in 2 landslides. And then he got into the primary and was beaten by Kennedy. And Kennedy won. But speeches of Adlai Stevenson for $1. Why would you buy that? Because it's weird and historical. And it forces me to do some research on who Adlai Stevenson was. I never heard of Adlai Stevenson until I was watching MASH. MASH takes place during the Korean War. Ike was president. Same period he was in the public eye. And the weird thing is, Henry Blake is McLean Stevenson, is related to this guy. There's an Adlai Stevenson who was vice president, like under I don't know, Taft and McLean Stevenson, the great comedic actor, is related to both of them. Greg, no one cares about ancient history. I don't care. I give it to you history for free. Oh, one more record I found at that record store was Phineas Newborn, the great piano player. And this record is called Piano Portraits by Phineas Newborn on Roulette Records. And hold on. So it was only $2. And the cover's totally split, but the vinyl seems to be in good shape. Phineas Newborn really doesn't get that much attention. I have a couple of his records that I like a lot. This one is probably one of my lesser favorites, but he plays kind of an old-fashioned, he plays a lot of notes with a lot of energy. How about putting it that way? What tunes are on here? Caravan, other tunes I haven't heard of. Anyway, Phineas Newborn. Oh, Roy Haynes. Roy Haynes, the great drummer, who's on that other record, still alive. The great Roy Haynes is on here. Who Loves Led Zeppelin? This record my wife found in a box in the garage, completely beat up, completely scratched. Can you see it? The great Led Zeppelin 1, and it's got like stuff on it, like I can't believe what is all that garbage? I don't know. I think someone wrote the word hurt on it because this record has been hurt, and it's really not listenable. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I may do something like this with it. Yeah, it survived. Goodwill I was at a few weeks ago. Prices are gone crazy at some of the Goodwills, but 3 records, and some of them were discounted, so the prices here are not what I paid. But yet another copy of the best-selling solo piano album of all time is Keith Jarrett at the Cologne concert. And this just means Cologne, Germany. That's how they spell Cologne. They call it Köln. We call it Cologne. Keith Jarrett, double record set, gatefold. One of his first big records on ECM, the ECM label. And this goes back, well, this is 1975. And I haven't listened to it, but I have 2 other copies, but I think this copy is better than both of them. And Keith Jarrett, maybe the greatest living piano player right now. Okay, Herbie Hancock, Keith Jarrett, they're both amazing. Keith has recently had to retire because I think he had a stroke or 2 strokes or something. I got to see him play once, by the way. It was excellent. That was with his piano trio. Okay, at the same Goodwill, somebody had dumped off the entire collection, like 12 albums of the great, the man, the master, the bizarre Rod McEwen. Now, my wife hates that I bring Rod McEwen albums home. I don't know, there's something appealing about his weirdness. And these are 2 good ones. So this has Listen to the Warm, and my mom used to have this book of poetry that had the exact same cover of this, like early 70s, I guess. So this has Listen to the Warm, a bunch of other songs I never heard of. And this one has the great Seasons in the Sun. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. Hear that song. That actually was originally a French song that was done by, what's the guy's name? Brel, Jacques Brel. So it was originally done in France. And I think Rod McEwen may have actually translated it and recorded it into the English. But in French it's called Le Moribond. So he's more of a poet than a singer, and his songs are very talky, you know. Look at some of the titles here. Summer Song, The Last Day of Summer, Night Song, Seasons in the Sun, The Lovers, To Share the Summer Sun. He's very into the summer and sun, apparently. The Singing in the Wind, and all the songs are about 2 lovers on the beach, the summer sun, you were there, blah, blah, blah. I think they're funny, but Chris Profray, if you're watching, I know you love Rod McEwen, and there's something hypnotically weird about his records. Paul Winter, okay, he did this new age stuff that is really kind of sappy and horrible, and okay, here's a eagle and a wolf riding on the back of a whale with a rainbow, okay, and his song titles are, you know, equally sappy. Ocean Dream and Wolf Eyes blah, blah. So anyway, this actual record made a guest star appearance in my recent noisy avant-garde destruction guitar video. And it didn't survive, and it was not my intention to have the record be destroyed. It was going to be abused, but I didn't realize it was not going to survive, so I apologize to Paul Winter. If you want to listen to this record on YouTube, you'll realize that it is pretty terrible. Oh, there he is playing with his wolf friend, Jethro the Wolf, so that's great. I don't recommend abusing records, but some records do need to be put out of their misery before they infect the rest of us. Guys, it is Super Bowl Sunday weekend here in Los Angeles. We're expecting the hottest Super Bowl of all time. It's like 88 degrees today where I am at my house. It's going to be the same temperature or hotter tomorrow. So what I know about the Super Bowl is I can name more of the musicians playing at the halftime show than I can name the players, honestly. I don't think I can name a single player on either team. Kurt Warner was with the Rams last time I checked, and that was probably a while ago. He's probably not there anymore. And hey, we redecorated the Vinyl Rundown studio in a tiki motif. Why? My neighbor was throwing away tiki lights. And I find all of my good stuff in people's trash. So let me know what day trash day is at your house. I can come over and see what I can find. That's about it for us today on the Vinyl Rundown, guys. Keep the vinyl spinning. Let me know if you have any comments. And rock and roll.